All set.
Pretty much ready.
We'll have a good second season of the Delhi Premier League.
Two new teams this year.
So the two new teams are New Delhi and Outer Delhi. One of India's former international player from another state is actually coming in as a mentor to guide one of those teams also.
We were talking about 79 players,
Yeah.
Just about enough. You needed 78, you had 79. This year, you have a different problem to deal with, perhaps a good problem, the problem of plenty.
So what we saw last year post the Delhi Premier League Women edition is that there was this sudden interest of actively playing cricket between young girls, and you saw a larger number of girls coming into academies, into training facilities, into the serious ecosystem to pursue it as a professional career.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. It is that time of the year when Delhi Premier League is what everybody in Delhi is talking about. And to talk about the league, I'm joined by the ultimate insider, DDCA President, Mr. Rohan Jaitley. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jaitley, for taking the time and talking to us.
Thank you.
So the excitement in the capital is palpable. Everybody's excited. Last year, when we spoke, it was after the conclusion of last season. There were certain things that we were talking about which were a focus area for you. And this year, let's start by talking about what has changed this year. More teams?
So this year the main change is on the men's side, where we've added two more teams. So from 6 teams you're up to 8 teams, which in effect gives an opportunity to about 200 players plus
Right.
to actively play and participate in the tournament and give what they have to show. And I feel that what we tried setting as a benchmark last year, be the infrastructure, the quality of product, the tournament that we had organized, the comm box, the presenters, it's an overall game. And
Yeah.
we spoke last year right after the Delhi Premier League had happened, and we spoke before the IPL auction had taken place. So when we see that children, based on the performance at the Delhi Premier League, were picked by IPL franchises at the auction, is when you realize that you certainly have done something in the right track. And that also in turn then converts into a potential for upcoming players to be far more motivated when they see a natural course of transition happening within a few months, is when the mood gets uplifted among the youth in the city to want to play more cricket, to try and use it as an opportunity to fast track themselves in the goal.
Right. And last year, when we were talking, especially in the context of, the women's cricket, the women team, we were talking about 79 players,
Yeah.
Just about enough. You needed 78, you had 79. This year, you have a different problem to deal with, perhaps a good problem, the problem of plenty.
So what we saw last year post the Delhi Premier League Women edition is that there was this sudden interest of actively playing cricket between young girls, and you saw a larger number of girls coming into academies, into training facilities, into the serious ecosystem to pursue it as a professional career. In order to address that, we also launched our first club-level women cricket division, where my whole board, especially all the women members on our board, were actively involved. And this summer, we actually put the T20 tournament at the club level for women's cricket in place. And what we saw was very surprising, where we were actually expecting around 20 clubs to participate. We got in about 45 clubs to play in, 600 plus girls, so which actually put a different category of players on the auction list for the Delhi Premier League, which were the key performers of that tournament. So where we had a list of about 79, 80 players last year on the auction list, we had the state players this year, which were about 90 players, and we had a pool of players who had come in from a T20 tournament in the state, which was close to around 200 players.
Right.
So we had about 200 plus players on the auction list, where about 78 are needed to complete the squad.
Yeah. And that's a massive jump because what the league has done has given a lot of young cricketers, both men and women, a clear goal. We might not be able to make it to the nationals, that is to say, to represent India, but we can definitely, play for the city and a team for the city.
See, what happens is that I would give it a little different understanding principle. The idea of playing for the state is something which is at the core of every cricketer to play on.
Yes.
That's the motivational factor. Go play for the state. If you're capable enough and you have the potential, you would go represent at some higher level thereon.
Right.
With the Delhi Premier League, you also just not have the state to represent for, you also have far more opportunities to show what you have, which is in the league. So the idea of playing cricket, which is being telecasted, which is one of the more sought after tournaments now in the city, is a motivational factor also. So the idea to play for the state and also a Premier League, both are actually pushing forward the potential in players to come, play, perform. We also have a lot of players this season who actually had at some point of time, let's say, left the state and gone over to another state to explore the opportunities to play. They've returned back to the state.
Right. Because other states don't have something like this.
So I wouldn't say other states don't have something like this. I would say majority of the states today have something like this. But what we are trying to do out of that is that we're trying to stand out a little different by trying to create a tournament which is going to be one of the leaders among all the states, to put it there.
Okay.
So the opportunities, the visibility, the number of teams, the number of matches, the infrastructure, the ecosystem. For instance, I'll give a small example, the DRS system. So the DRS system that we use at the league is the same that is used at international matches. So we're not cutting corners. We're making sure that a true international product of great magnitude is put out there.
Right. That's excellent. That's great to hear. So 2 new teams this year. Which are these 2 new teams?
So the 2 new teams are New Delhi and Outer Delhi. These are 2 teams that are actually owned by 2 different consortiums of corporates, and they're very professionally managed teams. And what we see is, after last year's 6 teams and 6 owners, we see the 2 new owners who've come in this year are very forthcoming and forward thinking and very upbeat on how to participate in the tournament. In fact, I saw one of India's former international player from another state is actually coming in as a mentor to guide one of those teams also, is what I was just informed. So
Right.
So it's something these are steps in the right direction, I would say.
And this year, is there anything in particular that you are really excited about?
What my key excitement this season is to see the number of players who come and perform and actually showcase themselves for the first time as contenders to do something better here.
Right.
Henceforth, to put it as such. Not just on the men's side, but also on the women's side. So what we saw last year is that Delhi won the under-23 women's T20 trophy, and it was something that we saw that actually commenced with the preparation of the Delhi Premier League, and the domestic season followed through, and it was a good result that we achieved at the end of the day.
So on the players front, the problem that you had was the problem of plenty this year. Going forward, I'm pretty sure that problem is only going to exacerbate for you, because more and more people will get excited and will start joining. But as far as team owners and sponsors were concerned, what was the level of excitement, enthusiasm amongst them that you saw?
So last year, since it was the first season, I think everyone was a little jittery and a little uneasy with what to expect, and with whether be team owners, whether be the sponsors, but they showed some faith in us.
Right.
They showed faith in us as an association to make sure that they bought teams, they invested in the teams, they put an ecosystem together, and the sponsors, they supported us to make sure that we are able to deliver a quality product at the end of the day. And it was all based on just the fact that it was the first season. They had yet not seen the desired result on what is going to come through. But today, I think what they saw as the first season is a good flatline scale to actually improve on. And I'm sure that when we have two new teams that got included and we generated enough revenue through the auction process for those two teams, I'm sure, and the sponsors are yet backing us and are yet interested in the league, is something that we are looking forward to, not just now, but also in forthcoming seasons as well.
Yeah, I think once they saw the proof of concept, which was, of course, the season last year,
Exactly.
they were all happy to come on board.
They were all happy to come on board, and they saw, and there is this upbeat confidence that they saw with great satisfaction is what they saw last year. And they expect it to be the same or not just better this season.
And last when we spoke, which was of course last year, we talked about a new stadium in Delhi. And that point in time, the conversation we had was Delhi, has this problem, there is not much land, but you were very confident that eventually in Delhi, a new stadium will come up.
It is something that has certainly progressed since we last spoke. It is something that I am hoping should happen sooner than later, where we should get a parcel of land for a new stadium, which would not just be a great stadium, but might just also be a very futuristic stadium where the game is concerned.
You want to give us a few clues? Like, what do you mean futuristic?
There are no clues. We're just going to come out with something which will be unique, is what I would say, and very futuristic, which would cater not just to the demands of the city, but also the game for the next half a century to say at least.
Right. But going forward, what will be the goal, the larger goal of the league for you? Because this is the second season and it's going to commence in the first week of August, from 2nd of August.
See, the goal on not just the league, but the association is that at some point of time, I wouldn't know when, there would be a situation where the funds would be limited on what come through as aid from the parent body, the BCCI, and the league also does give us an opportunity to save some money and sustain ourselves through the year by whatever the expenses are. Barring that, what I feel is that at the end of the day, what eventually has to happen at the grassroots level in the city is that you would need high performance centers set up. You would need ecosystems where the players who fall above a certain category are trained in a unified facility for purposes of making sure that you're churning out the best talent. And in order to do that, you would have to set up 5 to 7 centers. We've already set up 2, which are doing good, but we have to slowly expand. And when you expand, not just on the men's side, the women's side, these are things which would not just address the problem of too many players. It would also put a system in place where all the players who play can come in. If you are meeting a threshold, you would move ahead in life and play more serious cricket than others would.
Yeah. At least that's what the hope is as far as players are concerned.
That's how it should be in an ideal world.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I can't wrap this up without talking to you about India-England series. We all saw what's been happening in the test matches. I'm sure you must have been keeping a close eye as well. What do you think of India's performance? The batting's been good. Yes, we have fallen short.
What I feel that we've been doing well. The batting's been good. The bowlers have been delivering the spell. And we're just missing it by a sly on every occasion. So it's just, I would say it's just you're just having a bad day.
Yeah.
Like where we were on the last day of the Lord's game in the beginning of the first session to where we were towards the end of the third session.
Yeah.
You'd survived the day.
Yeah.
You just fell short by a whisker.
Yeah, by a whisker. That Bashir ball, Siraj had managed to stop it and it just spun back, hit the wickets. The bails were, down, and there you had it.
Sheer bad luck.
Sheer bad luck, absolutely. Now, this is my last question to you. And that is, of course, about, I wouldn't call it a worry so much, but definitely something which might be on your mind. And that is weather gods playing spoil sport. I think that is also the reason why the league had to be pushed by a week or so. So are there any plans in place, to make sure that the matches, happen as per schedule? Because, it's August, Delhi.
So we had it in August last year.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough then to make sure to have good weather. The gods were kind. We are hoping the same this time around. We've assessed the weather. It's the weather predictions that actually came in as a recommendation to defer it by a week. So that's the reason why it was deferred. We're hoping that it would be a smooth sailing. We've also factored in a few reserve days at the knockout stage. So hopefully we should be okay.
Yeah. So all set?
All set.
Pretty much ready. And come 2nd August?
We'll have a good second season of the Delhi Premier League.
All right. On that note, all the best.
Thank you.